G'day, how you going? Just smiling for the camera here. Welcome to my video. I'm Ianapolis, your acrylic guru from Australia. I've been drawing a layout on my canvas here, and it's going to be like a sunset waterfall with a lake in front of it, all right? Some water blending onto the sand, beautiful sunset, some waterfall, maybe some mist to give it some artistic look. Okay, so come on over here and I'll just show you what I've drawn out. Oh, before I do though, we'll get the size of the canvas on the screen there in centimetres and inches, and as always I'll get the colours going up the screen as well. That way when you're painting along with my tutorials you can pause it and write those colours down, and then make sure you watch the whole video if you're a beginner so you know what you're up against and you get to see what's in my mind. So when you begin the painting, you already know what it's going to look like when you finish it. Alright, so back over here. Now I've got my horizon line. It's just maybe a tidbit under halfway, but it's pretty much halfway because we need a lot of foreground to create in this area. And we've got a couple of layers of distant bushes and trees where the waterfall is going to be housed. Just got some rock subject here and a bit of a mountain rock here with some land against the water as well. And I want to have the beautiful sun, you probably can't see it too well, just coming up from the sky there. All right, now down here on my palette I'll get you familiar with what I'm going to do to prep the sky, because in this painting my sky is the only area I'm going to be blending. So I've got some craft paint there. It came out of the bottle very flowing like, so I call it flowing white. This is the stuff here if you want to find it online. Okay, and it's just a student grade, nothing spectacular. And I'm also going to put some slow drying medium in there, which is called retarder. Okay, there's so many different brands of retarder, but the retarder for those beginners, that slows down the drying time of your acrylic paint. And I pretty much mix up this white and the clear retarder together with my flat 2-inch brush, because this 2-inch brush don't muck around. When I'm getting paint onto the canvas, it's getting on there. So I don't have much of a sky area. I want to condition the board with this paint and the retarder, because I've got to get some blending colours up there, like the sun colours and the clouds. But you don't need to overcloud the sky. This is only a small area of sky. So let's just get that on there. Now I might use Indian yellow. So because it's only a small sky area, I'm only going to use smaller brushes to apply the paint. I've got my Indian yellow. That's a warmer yellow than your normal CAD, so I'm going to try it today. Maybe it'll look good, maybe it'll look ridiculously snotty. Who knows? I've got an orange or a red gold, or you can use red and make an orange. And then I've got my blue colour for the sky. I'm going to use phthalo blue and just a few different size flat brushes, okay, to get the colours on. So my first colour, now these don't have the retarder in there because the retarder's already in that white on the board. So I want to get the 3 bands of colours for the sunset, okay? So starting with the yellow, Indian yellow, I want to see the white dims it down as well. This is a nice golden nuggety colour. I quite like it actually. You might want to use just CAD yellow medium, but we'll get that on there, blend it out into a radius across. Now sometimes, even I've done it, your sunset, try not to focus it in one spot. It goes all across the horizon area there, so I'm just doing that. Now this is wet. I'm brushing it into that white now just to get rid of some of that bulky colour. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to wipe this brush. I washed it and rinsed it and dried it pretty well. Now I'm picking up my orange or my red gold. So I know I've got that mountain there. So I want to get this banding across here now. Get it into that white there. Just like that. I'm doing it in a line. You can probably swell it up a bit there if you want. And now I want to get those colours spliced together like that. I'm doing it in nice strokes across the sky, following the horizon. There we go. Beautiful. Now this colour is pretty much separating the yellow from our blue colour we will have, okay? So I've got a little flat brush here. Now I want to get some more on there, so I'm just quickly wiping it. You can't see me doing that because it's off camera, but I'm picking up some more of that red gold, and I want to intensify that colour up here. So I'm stamping it on, because with that white on there, it washes it through. So I'm stamping it on, wiping that brush again, and I want to get some of that. There we go, look at that. Beauty nuke. Alright, we've got some flavours in the sky. Now we're going to add our blue, the phthalo blue. So I'm picking up another flat brush and get the phthalo blue on there. Now these have no retarder in it, it's just straight out of the tube. It's a good quality artist paint I'm using here, so it makes a difference. And I want to get the blue quite dark up into the sky before we start hitting our sunset colours. This is a real easy way to do a sunset. Alright, get it up there. Because believe it or not, on a sunset, where the blue is, I think that needs to be darker because it's in front behind the blue, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we've got that. Now I want to splice this into that orange colour there, and it's going to create our purples as well, hopefully, and we can splice that up into there as well. We're just getting those colours merging across the horizon line. Okay, now I'm getting the brush on its side and just stroking all those iffity-affity ugly bits out. There we go. The clouds will pick up those colours and create those colours within the clouds. I have a small fan brush and some good quality titanium white out of the tube. Now this paint, I don't need to mix it with nothing because the colours are on the board are already wet, retarded, and they're going to blend up there for me. So I'm just going to use this brush to stamp my cloud on there. Okay, so we'll give something maybe out here. I'm creating the top of the cloud, see? Just creating the top of the cloud. Give it some bottom. Boom, bitty, boom, boom, boom. And if anything, I like to spider them out from the middle to give that sense of it's coming over our head. And with this blending procedure that I do, I like to have a paper towel or a cloth, anything. So I'm blending my cloud now. So I'll get the bottom tampered with first. There we go, beautiful. And just softly does it. And we're going to create a bum on that cloud, tickle the tops a bit, and it's picking up the red, the orange, the yellow, sunsetty colours. They're all through the cloud. I'll come up here because what I'm going to do is put something just in front of it because I want to wash it out the way there. Wipe it. See how constantly I've got to wipe it? There we go. So we've got one body of a cloud, and I'll probably put just something on the other side to break it up, okay? So I've washed and dried that same brush, picked it up with some clean titanium white, and I've got that mountain there, so let's try something about here. Boom, bitty, boom, boom, boom. There we go. I'm worried about the top, what the top of my cloud's going to look like. Grab that same blending brush. Sometimes you need a small blending brush or a larger one, depending on the size of your clouds. And you can put as many clouds as you want, but sometimes less is best. And see this blending I'm doing? I don't want to blend it so it's all the same look. I want bits that are disturbed, bits that are not, so it's creating all that depth within there, you know. You've got swooshy marks and all, so it's not just one type of blend. I can come down here. Get that all whooshed in behind where that mountain's going to go. And then just to finish these off, we can sit them down with some yumminess as well. So my sky's still pretty wet. I don't have to rush against time. I can just crack some in there. yumminess, maybe on this one as well, just there like that. Put something in front and behind, same over here. I just want to look in my monitor. That's not too bad. And then before I contaminate my brush too much, just kind of, this bit will be open, just kind of put something in front there. So this is more white and it's sinking that cloud back. Just like that. And maybe a tidbit here, because this went a bit bluey green. My mountain's going to be there. So we'll put one in front there. Any old way. There we go. Beautiful. Too easy, simple, but effective sky. And now I'm only going to do the tops of them down. I don't want to go back the other way with them, okay? And then we'll just put some white intense colour where the actual centre of the sun would be. And that's pretty much a reasonable, effective, simple sky for a beginner to do once you practice these procedures on some practice canvas or cardboard or paper, okay? There we go. How's that looking? That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I might just pick up a little bit of white there on my blending brush because I can see I've lost them body here. There we go. And I'm going to slightly sink some of that yumminess down, but not too much, just easy does it. There we go. We don't want to start bringing blue like I did there a little bit into our clouds, getting green, but that pretty much will do it. Blend that down. That'll do. Now just to finish the sky, I'm grabbing my, it's a displayed out edge brush. It's called a deer foot because it looks like the hoof. Where are we? It looks like the hoof of a horse or a deer. And this can create speckles, but I'm not using it to create speckles. I'm using this right now as like a small pouncer slash blender. So I know my trees are going to come here, so I want this just tipping over the top there. And that's why I picked this brush, because I can render it and blend it out into that Indian yellow there. See what I've just done there? Because we just want a nice, bright, intense centre for the sun. And you can keep building this up till the cows come home. There's no limit on how you want to build it up. There we go. I'm going to wipe it a bit, just so as I can get rid of this here. Here we go. There we go. We just had a bullshit moment there. Look at that. So easy and beautiful and simple. Now don't feel, Ian, I can't do it like that. You can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. It's just practice. You practice these procedures. If you like this sky, but think the rest of the painting's no good, you practice this skyway in your paintings. I'm just looking here. Let's hope that white don't kill all that. I don't like those lines there. I didn't really... Oh, what am I doing? I'll get a bit of maybe blue there on that brush, because I would like to... Yeah, what have I done? See, now you watching the video would know to blend all that in and not have this mistake happen to you. Okay, because now I've gone and put an area in that sky that just looks absolutely stupid. But I will live with it. I will live with it. I'm going to pick up some of this orange now and just tape it back into there if I can. I just painted this row of trees on with forest green and lightened it down with some yellow. Unfortunately, my camera was off when I painted this section, so forgive me for this little bit of a mistake, but we'll get back to it anyway. Now down here, I want to show you the best way to get mist. This was a flat brush years ago. It started life as a flat brush. Just grab some good quality titanium white, make an area on your palette. Nothing big, thick, wet and bulky. And this is a dry brush as well. We want to start contaminating this brush. Okay, I've dried the canvas, so this ain't going to change colour. Now test it somewhere first. See, that's still too much. There we go. You need very little. You might think there's nothing on there. Now mist sits straight and level, so I'm not going to do a line of mist all the way up there like that. You could do if it's looking arty, but it's not real. If anything, the mist sits level. So I'm going to start putting this on, finding my pressure, and just see, I need a little bit more. I've rubbed too much off actually. And if anything, I want a nice layer down the bottom of this valley here, because it's going to have the other trees in front of it. Hopefully my head isn't in the way. And I'm just creating mist by contaminating the painted canvas with this lightly spoiled white paint. Okay. And even this mist, you can, oh, it's a bit dark, bright there, I'll wipe some more off. This mist will be a great thing. Do a bit of a painting of something and just learn how to control your mist, so when you're doing it in a painting, you'd be quite confident on what you're going to do, okay? So there's our mist. If anything, it's level. It's gone up here a bit, but still in a level way. Now we want to put the next row of foliage and trees in front of that, and they're going to be a little bit lighter in colour, okay? Because the sun's behind. If the sun's up in the sky, this will be darker and it'll be lighter in the background. But in this case, in my view, it's back to front. So I'm using the forest green again, and I'm going to map it in with that to get a dark background for our lighter colour foliage. And I'm using my filbert brush again, and it's coming above all this, so I want to work out where I want it. There's me mist right here, so I want to leave that within the photo. This can come up or down wherever, doesn't matter. The mist is already in its right spot, so I'll get this. If anything, it's going to be low here where the waterfall is going to be, and the same over here. We'll start getting this all blocked in. I'll get this top area done so you get an idea, just the layout that's happening from within my head into this picture. Okay, and then we'll just simply pull all this down. So I've dried this layer of green I've just put on there, and I'm picking up my stippler Deerfoot, the brush that can create some freckles. Now you want your brush wet, but not too wet, just enough to get these freckles transferring onto your canvas there. So we don't want big blobs like that. I'm going to dry the brush in a rag just down there a bit. Wet it again, just so we want to get open dotted pattern onto our palette, onto our canvas. And just the bottom radiating up into this canopy, I want to get these, what do I call them freckles, black freckles anyway. I was a freckly faced little bugger when I was young. Still have got me freckles. So yeah, I'm radiating these up from the bottom and into the to-be canopy, okay? And you'll see how this comes into play. Now this is sort of a detailed one. I'm doing it pretty much, I'm cutting a few corners of the detail out of this, but you can even get more detail if you want. But I'm keeping it in mind of a beginner to comprehend as well. Even the advanced beginner can get some fun out of this. And we're just getting this all along the bottom. This is the next colour going in to produce the forward colours, which in the end would produce the painting, okay? because a lot of this is going to have some stone scratched in it as well. And just before I finish this section, it's important where the waterfall's going to be, we want to map it in with this black, okay, and on both sides radiate out as well into that green, because you'll see why this has to happen. You need black behind the light water to be able to see it. So this is our green from the Backer Mountain. I've got the cadmium yellow light just to mix up some lighter, brighter green colour in front for this next lot of trees and foliage, okay? I find the cadmium yellow light is a good tint for the greens to get it to the yellow green. Cadmium yellow medium, in my view, is more of a solid coloured pigment paint, so I just prefer the light. Okay, and that's a different colour, which is what I'm liking. Okay, you can see the difference there. Now leave our waterfall, we're going to have a waterfall there, so let's just get all this an umbrella shape, and we'll start from the middle here, a bit above, and just kind of bring it in, just like that. Everything's been dried, so this is sitting on there quite easily, and it's going to taper down into that black, just like that. Okay, you'll sort of get the gist of which way I'm going with it. Not too big, thick, heavy blobs, and don't worry if you have done a thick, heavy blob, you can always get the darker colour and render it out again. So we've got pockets of black, pockets of light, we've got shape there. And we're just coming down, just not all the way to the bottom, because we've got to get some stone rock colours scratched in there. So on this right side, I've got them tilting into the middle, and I'm going to do the same on the left, tilting into the middle, coming from the left, tilting into the middle. Just like that. I want to have a look in my monitor and see how that's turning out. That's getting what we want, you can see now. So I'm going to do the other side off camera, excuse me for that, because it'll just lessen the boredom. I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay, I'm just finishing off. Now this bit here, I'm going to have a bit of the green wrapping around where the waterfall's coming out. So the waterfall will be coming out of some dark shadows in the forest here. So we've just created the darkness there, okay? Just like that. And our waterfall will come out of that darkness and down. So I've got the leftover yellow and I mixed it with the green. So now we've got a lighter colour yellow-green. This is just fine highlights, just mainly in this area here. Just something to give the art piece that wow factor. And just sort of, don't overdo it. Get them over crossing each other in an appropriate way. Let me look in the monitor. Is that doing what I want it to do? Yeah, not too bad. It could go a bit brighter, a bit yellowy, but I don't want to kill it all with this. And I find this filbert brush is making the canopies perfect. Okay, and we're going to get a bit more just radiating there. Just some more wow factor bullshit aspects. Okay. Just remember, all my paintings are for sale too. Check out the links in the description below. So I've just put some low-tack tape here because I want to scratch up the rock face on, because this is sort of like a tree-lined cliff. So I want to scratch them up, and I'm just using just simple burnt umber. So we get our burnt umber out, and then we can get some white in there and start mixing a lighter value of this as well. So we want the dark on there first, but I'm just showing you the different values, subtle but enough to be effective. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to clean this brush, and I want to put the darker value on first and then hit it with the highlights. Okay, and this is why I put the tape there, because instead of getting all the bottom area dirty, I want to finger spear this up into the black, just so we're getting like sharp arrows going up into the black, just into the black there. Don't touch the green. So we get this darker brown. This will stand up against your black there. I'll do this side here closest to me, just so, and I'll do a bit and I can show you. So I'm pretty much stamping it on. Okay, I'm using that same filbert brush and just, you know, scrumbling it into that black just a bit. Okay, I'll get up to about here somewhere. So this is pretty much the rocks that this cliff face is constructed of. Get it all the way down there. Okay, and then clean the brush, and we'll just very gingerly put some highlights there to stand these rocks out. I'll show you. And to do them, I'm going to use the lighter value that I mixed. And you can do them any way. You can have them scallop looking, round looking, chiseled looking. I should have dried that, but I'm going to do, I don't want too many now. These are just there. I'm doing them in like a long fingered version. You can do them as round. I'm going to dry it first because it's mudding up, and a beginner doesn't need mud. Okay, now it's dry, we'll be able to see what I'm highlighting. Just some highlights of these rocks, or the cliff face there. I've got some gingerly behind where the waterfall is going to be. You don't want too much light there. And you can go another value lighter than this as well if you like. Let me see how that's turning out. Yeah, that's not too bad. It sort of looks rocky, cliff facey. I'll concentrate on this side. Okay, I've done that, and just down the very bottom I can see where my tape is. I want the thinnest black bit. Okay, the thinnest black bit, getting on there, wipe the brush, and you can come from the tape and just sort of splice in some darker shadow at the bottom of all of that you've done, because we've got to add some mist to this as well, and having this dark colour there is going to give the mist its visuals. It'll make it pop. Okay, don't do too much at a time because it can dry on you. You just want the slightest dark bit scrumbled up from the bottom, just like that. I can take this tape off. Okay, just make sure there's no rigid line there, so heavy line. Some of you might be asking, why haven't you done the waterfall yet? I'll tell you why. When the water's in, we can marry that sitting on top of the water. If I do it now and paint around it, it's going to look a bit iffity-affity. I want to get this side mountain in now, hillside. Okay, I've got the darker green mixed with the blue again, what I showed you earlier on in the video. And this is pretty much going to leave some sky there. We want some canopies. This will be the top of this. I could have really brought that sky down a bit more, but that's okay. There we go. I've got it about there. That's about there. Leave some air in the tops just to give it that sense of realness, and then we can make from here down, I suppose, solid. And we're just pretty much going to block that in with this darker colour. That's going to be an area where we can put our lighter colours and details, and it'll help. And I'm brush stroking these up and downwards when I've finished them. Look, I'm going to add some more water to that paintbrush, not too much, just so as we can get some flowing going on here. I want this out there a bit, and then this will be down there straight. Oh, well, a hard edge, but it doesn't have to be straight. It can be a bit wickety-wackety crooked. Okay, just make sure you've got no lip on it. And we're blocking in for this foreground rock mountain area here. Okay, and then once I block this in, I need to, and I have to dry it so the other colours that we put on top will not mud up, all right? And stroke all the messy brush strokes out of it. Okay, how we going? We having fun so far? Good stuff. Now what I'm going to do, you saw how I did these rocks at the bottom here. I'm going to do this the other way now, so because this is more closer, it is a bit more detailed. So I would like to get the darkness and that rock onto here, so as when we put the foliage on, it'll be hanging over it, okay? We don't want it set back. I've just sort of dribbled some of the little bits over here. So now we're going to put the rock on first, leaving the darks in the appropriate spot, and then we'll cascade the foliage over the top of that, all right? All right, so I've got just the burnt umber on here at the moment, and I want to, I don't know, let's sort of give it some sort of coming up. Probably about to that height there. I don't want to go any higher than that. Now, you do your rocks how you're comfortable. I'm just doing it in this tutorial this way because it's just the way that I can do them. If you have a fantastic favourite way of incorporating stones and rocks into your work, do it. Now, this is the edge. I'm getting that reasonably sharp in front of there as well. Pull it down straight, just until I get up to maybe where my foliage is going to be. And I want this scrumbled into that darker blocked in colour, just like that. But oh, see, it's nearly lifting the paint off it. It's not dry properly. Okay, now we've done that. Put some all sorts there. I'm just making sure I've got darkness from where my foliage is going to hang over it, alright? So we've got our rock there. I have some yellow oxide. Let's just see what that's like with that, just to give it a different value. It's closer and brighter. It's not so muted like that colour was. You can use a knife for this even. Now I want to scrape there the edge of me. That's the edge. How did that look? That's fine, beautiful. That's all I want. That's all I need. Less is best. Sometimes the first stroke's the best. And we're pulling this up, hiding any mistakes you've done in your first blocking in stage. Beautiful, simple and beautiful. That's it. That's all you need. You muck with it too much, sometimes you ruin a good thing. Like when you meet someone for the first time, it's so great. You're not mucking around too much with them. You're showing them how good you can be. But when you muck around from too much and they see your true colours, you spoil it. It happens in a lot of things. All right, now we'll just lighten that up. And to do that, I've got some white. Get some white into there. Not too white and loud because you can get that cartoony look. So I could see from here what it's going to look like. And as you saw, I didn't dry any of this mountain, but if you need to, by all means dry it. And bits maybe where the light would be hitting this, that's all I'm doing. I'm using the edge of the brush. There, that's fine. So this is obviously a sticky out ridge up there. Don't go overboard with it. That'll do it. That's enough, plenty. Now we have our greens here again, the forest green. I've mixed it with some cadmium yellow light and even lighter again. So I want to map in over that blocked in area now, just a bit darker than this to get our actual dark colours, and then we'll highlight them to the brighter colour. So now this is the colour of these. It's blocked in, and what we have blocked in there is just the shadow colours really. And if anything, I just want to come to that dark rock colour, not too much in it, okay? And it doesn't matter if a lot of this doesn't stand out just yet, because the other lighter colour is what's going to make it. So now, in my mind, I'm doing large umbrella movements coming down the rock here. And like I said before, it's up to you how detailed you want to go with this. Just dribble it over the black there. Now you can see why I did the rocks first, so this foliage can be transformed over it, looking a bit more natural. Let me have a look in the monitor. Looking good. See, this is looking dark, which it needed to at this stage, and then when we add the highlights, you will see brings the shape into perspective. And I've got everything coming off the side of the painting into the painting. We can even have a bit of a gully there. You don't have to fill it all in, leave pockets. It's great. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Over the blacks a bit. There we go. Now we'll highlight that. Now this is where you can take time to look at your picture as well, like you've got different layers behind and in front. Now look here. See here, I want to highlight this edge just there and tapering back so it gives it the look where it's in front of all this here. I've mixed up my cad yellow light and the green again, and I want to make sure that I get that happening. So I want to get it in front of those darker trees there and start rendering it back into here. Don't go too mad with this, you can get carried away. So I'm highlighting the different groups. Did that set it back? It has, and when I'm detailing this, I'll probably put a little bit more lighter stuff on there. I've given this a dry, I don't know if I did say that or not, but I have given it a dry. Now I want a big lump of it coming down here. And you can just, this is another fun procedure, you can practice until you get it looking right, and you start just admiring what you're capable of doing. See there, that's pretty simple. We're leaving blacks underneath it. See, I'll come down here. I want that black underneath it. I'll start on this one now. And just the tops, transpire it back here. I don't know if that word's appropriate, but it sounds bloody beautiful. Okay. I'm not thinking, I'm just sort of, you know, got an idea where I need to go and I'm just doing it. I'm not trying to think too hard, and, you know, the slower you do something, the crooked it becomes, the quicker you do it, the straighter it becomes, so to speak. That'll do. Now I'll just highlight it a bit more. So I've got more cadmium yellow light, and I'm just bringing it into a bit of that so we get a much better highlighted colour. And we don't want to go too much with this now. We want to go less than that colour we just put on. So the same mentality and thought I had before, I want to get this in front there. Lightly. I tell you what, the lightly you do it as well, the more sharper and precise it'll look. It'll just give it that unbelievably nice look. There's nothing better than getting that unbelievable nice look in your work. And we're just going to highlight the shapes that I put on there now. You could see where I need to highlight way up here. Little bits. Don't think about it, just do it. I need to look in the monitor. Yes, that is beautiful. That's perfect. Oh, goodness me, what happened there? Doovalaki. I'll fix that up. I'll put some darker back in there, but I need to highlight this first. Easy does it, just on the edge, on one edge. Maybe a little bit here. And you all know it's very easy to get carried away and keep going with this until the cows come home, but you got to remember to stop. I'm just wiping the brush, picking up some of the darker green, and then I'll panel beat this. Boom, 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 boom. Somewhere there. Yeah, that's fine. Wiping the brush, picking up the lighter colour again, and sinking it back to where it had to come from. Too easy. Alrighty, let's finish this off with some simple water, okay? So I've got me raw umber here, and I'm teasing the rest of this white I had in the beginning of the painting. This, I just want a very white sandy colour for one side, and why I'm using this leftover paint, because it has a retarder in it, it's going to help stay wet longer. And pretty much, I'll get it against there first. You can tape this up, I'm just doing it freehand. This is where I want the water. Now, I'll just show you the best way. There's where I want the sand, right? I'll just show you the best way, what works in my mind to get these two happening. So that's pretty much the colour I want. And go a bit beyond a bit, just pull it out there while it's still a bit wet. Okay, that'll do it. Beautiful. Beauty, that'll do it. So I have some turquoise, and I'll get some mixed up lighter now, because we want the lighter value next to the sand and then the darker value away in the deeper area, okay? I'm just using that flow white paint. And first I'll just get this traced in there. Lick it there, that'll do. Now let's put this lighter area in. Just see there, the rest is going to be deep. Okay. Oh, what have we got there? Not to worry. Now you want to just get these two, let the the sand colour come into the watercolour, let the watercolour come into the sand colour, but don't get the watercolour too much into there, because you want to work it out where you have your water just lapping on the shore. You'll see what I mean when I get to that. But this is the best way to do it. You've got them pretty much merged together like that. So we will have some of the sand underneath the water. Okay, that was pretty easy. Now I've cleaned that brush. It's important that I clean it, and I'm loading it up again just with the neat turquoise, meaning it's not mixed with anything. I think this colour will suit this scenery. Now it's up to you how dark you get this. Get it to it first so you're not contaminating any of the colours, right? Boom, buddy, boom, boom, boom. That easy. It's like you're building a building, but this building's a painting. Yeah. Don't worry about there, because that's near a bank. That could be a bit shallow. All right. Then start bleeding these together. What I'm going to do now that I've done that, let's see, I'm going to wipe the brush just on a rag down there. I've just wiped the build-up paint off it, starting from the dark colour. Where are we? Here we go. Here we go. And then we'll just marry that into that other blue. Don't go in all the way over here, all right? And if you feel you've got to add more light into there, do it. It's backwards and forwards. It doesn't always work first time. Have I got any phthalo blue left on my board there? Just getting some phthalo blue on the whole edge of the brush, just so we can create some depth out here, maybe just like that. That'll do. Wipe the brush on a rag. And we've got our depth there, and if you feel you don't like your depth, like I said, add some lighter colours back into it. Now we're going to add the water just hitting the sand. So I've got a damp, reasonably wide liner brush. You can get this a bit damp. And we want our favourite little misting brush that I showed you earlier, you know, that. And then we'll start working out the layout for this on our bank. And now let's try, we'll start here. I want the, so hang on a minute, I'll get some on. That'll do. Put him down. I'm picking up that little brush. Now this isn't dry. I might need to dry it if it's too wet. And I want to leave the side on the shore sharp, and then easily wash this back, but straight, in straight movements into the water. Okay, and then you can always pick up that brush and add more, you know, detail to blend. This will create darker and lighter bits. The foam, this is the foam. Okay, once again, this is something else you can have fun just practicing, getting water lapping onto sand. Okay, but leaving this edge here dark, and I want to fade that out. Okay, and it's important that I keep it in perspective. So we'll get a bit more on there. We could come around here. Let's just go around there first. I'm just doing a bit at a time, okay? So we're pushing that back. There we go. I'll just join that up a bit. Pretty easy, isn't it? And then we'll put some more going up to the horizon line. So we can pretty much, I'm not worried about the water side, I'm just worried about the side hitting the sand, okay? There we go, and we can curl it around there like that. Okay, now keeping these horizontals important. If you bring them around like that, it's going to make your water look like it's sitting up on a wall. And we will bring other elements of whitewash into there as well. We don't have to get too detail-y out here because it's getting a bit far from the eye. But How's that looking? That's fine. Now I want to just add layers into it so it's quite... Well, see, that's pretty much washed that away. So you can semi-dry your paint if you like, just so it'll scrumble a bit better, and I'll show you just what that does. Okay, I'm just dotting in some foam. It's semi-dry and it won't scrumble in so suddenly. It'll have some volume there, some loudness of the colour, and work with what you've put on there. Sometimes it goes a long way. Okay, let me have a look in there. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'll just put a little bit more out here, and then I'll come closer. So you semi-drying it with the acrylic, it makes it sort of go a bit rubbery. So let's do some here. Okay. Goes a long way, like I said. And then we'll fix this bit here up. Well, it's not too sharp against the edge there, is it, Ian? What you doing? That'll do. That looks silly, doesn't it, that line there? But when you get it appropriately scrumbled out, not too bad. See, we're picking it up, moving it along. This is close to it, so there's no line there. I want to just look in the monitor now. Is that doing what I want it to do? That pretty much is. So see, I'm not going to do these all the way up there because it'll kill the perspective, but you get a gist of what I mean. Okay, I'm picking up some white on a small flat brush. It might be contaminated a little bit with the turquoise. Everything's dry, and we want to create, let's get the top of our, let's say coming from here, and just falling down into the water. And we've got that black behind our waterfall. Now this is, like I said, a slightly contaminated blue, white with the blue in it, the turquoise. Let me get that straight. Okay, yeah, that looks all right. Oh, look what I just done. Oh no, I've got to quickly see if I can fix that. I just leant on it because it's still wet. I'll fix that up off camera, don't worry about that. Let's just don't lean on it, Ian. Okay, so we're getting this done. There's our water. See, I've got it on top of the water now. That's why I didn't do this before. Now I want to clean that brush and get pure white, just so we can highlight some of that water. I mean, it looks good enough. I just want some of it sharper. Comment below if you've got something to say about my videos there. It's always good to read your comments. There we go. Now we're going to add some mist. Okay, I'm just going to use this brush, and I want some mist. Pretty much, if this is too hard, I'll stop. I want some mist pretty much floating on top of the water because it's damp air coming across here, floating up above the rocks, over the water in a roundabout way. I'll put some turbulent under there in a minute if I feel it needs it. Just something here, maybe some pockets floating up. So this could probably be morning, because I do know the mist hangs around in the morning time. It takes a while to settle, so by the time the sun's got out and warmed the day up, the mist disappears. So we get some around the waterfall. And like I said before, I'm keeping it parallel to the painting. See how easy mist is? This brush is probably not as good as my little flat, muted, munted up one, but it's still doing the job. Now I just want to get to finishing it off, so I'll put some intensity underneath our waterfall there. I'm just using a flat brush. I'm just getting it bouncing around, not too much. Sort of coming up a bit, the waterfall. Wiping it off the brush. And I want to get the washed waterline hitting the land out there, just across here. Kind of maybe reflection there, so I'll just get something there, nothing too much. I want to have a look. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then I'll just put some sharp white over there, just to sink all that down. Okay, I've just got some mishmash of the darker colours on the palette there, and I'm using a very fine liner, twisting it and get some darker shadow under here just to sit this water on the bank there. Twisting it as you go, let it make its own natural shadow, just like that. And we'll probably put some on the other side as well. So I'll probably start from about here. Twisting it, wiggling it, letting it carry on in its own way. There we go. Just to top it off with some more bullshit, if you feel you want to go that far, mainly around the waterfall area and radiating out, I've got some very inky titanium white, and I just want to I'm going to use my bullshit stick and just put lines of twinkle dots. Let's see. You have them random, but you want them in random straight lines reflecting on level water. Let me just see how that's looking. Yeah, that's going to do the job. So they're random, but if they're in line, they're not in crookedy lines. So I feel they're in straight lines, but random. Nice and tiny. Squint your eyes if you don't have a camera to look at your work and see where you're going right and wrong with it all. All right, I'm just finishing it off now. This is forward than that, but it's in the same horizon line, so I want to bring it down a bit. I'm just getting some black, getting some shadow under there. I'm going to taper it down lower into the water, and we can just put something on this to bring it more forward from our other background there. And I want it straight. I want this straight though, but lower. Lower but straight. Okay. Boom, bitty, boom, boom, boom. Let's get it a little bit damper. And you can put anything on this, shrubs, or just leave it as a bank from the bottom of the rock, you know. But it's something that can have the water, because this is a different landmass in front of that rock. Okay, same brush, just been cleaned, and we're going to put this pretty much against the bank there. Let's hope this is light enough. Yeah. I'm keeping the end of it quite sharp and chiseled, because this is our bank there, and it's going up into the black a bit. You'll see why. Just out here. That's it. Pick up some green that I've got there, the darker colour green, mid-tone green, and I'm just going to put, I don't know, just some basic shrubs in front of this, on leaving the black there. Just, where are we? Just like this, killing some, giving it some more bottom. That'll do. Wipe the brush. And then I'll quickly grab the highlight of that, just so they stand out. How's that looking in the monitor? It's working, it's doing what I want it to do. I'll probably detail it off camera if it's looking a bit iffy now, but I want to sign this and whack a frame on it, just so as we can see how gorgeous she's looking. There we go. Nice yellow green. Dribble over there. Okay, wasn't too bad. And we'll just put the excuse me, the film of water to finish this off. So it's pretty much all in there. The light's glaring down there. That's it. And just something lightly hitting this. I'm going to wash that brush now and dry it, but leaving it a little bit damp just so that white that I put on there, I can turn it into opaque film. There we go, it's just not loud white. Beautiful. That'll do it. Okay, I want to rack a signature on this in a frame. All right, I'll just use a darker value of this sandy colour. Got it very inky like. Now check out the links in the description below. All my paintings, as I said, are for sale. Payments are done through PayPal. And there's a link to my art group page, to my traceables, to the bloopers. Go and have a look below. There's quite a few there and get familiar with them. That's fantastic. All right, I'll put Steve's footprint there. We'll put a frame on this and see how she looks. Yeah. Alrighty, look at that. That's not too shabby, hey? We got a beautiful sunset over the hills and mountains in a lake, okay? And I'm going to work out a name for it. Yeah, we'll find a name for it, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun painting it and making this video. And if you like what I'm doing, tell your friends, okay? But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody, all right? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on you.